for organizing this consecutively for 3 years successfully, and this one is the fourth one. And as the convener already mentioned about the large number of papers which been received by them, so that they have to also cuddle some of them. But still there are many, and there are, I think, more than 57 colleges and universities. They are participating in this program. The title itself tells us something. Popular culture and literature. Now, the relationship between this popular culture and literature, if you want to just look at it, they have long been intertwined, reflecting and shaping each other in profound ways. Now, popular culture, with its dynamic and ever-evolving nature, it encompasses a wide range of expression, including music, movies, television shows, social media, fashion, and more. And literature, on the other hand, represents a more established and traditional form of cultural expression, often considered a cornerstone of human intellectual and emotional experience. The relationship between these is very interesting to find it out, with literature both influencing and being influenced by popular culture. Now, literature played a very significant role in shaping this popular culture to me. Now, if you consider the classic works, for example, William Shakespeare, the plays which are written over 400 years ago, it continued to be a source of inspiration for countless movies, television shows, and adaptations in various media. And Shakespeare's theme of love, betrayal, power, and tragedy are timeless, which resonates that audiences across generations accept this, and it may be considered as popular culture also. Similarly, if you look at Mary Shelley's Frankenstein or Bram Stoker's Dracula, they have transcended their literary origins to become iconic figures in popular culture. And these characters have been reimagined in films, TV series, comic books, video games, cementing their place in the popular imagination. Moreover, if you consider literature, which introduces the concepts and ideas that become integral to popular culture, we can take George Orwell's 1984, which introduced the concept of Big Brother, which is a symbol of intrusive government surveillance that has become a common reference in discussions about privacy and state power. One of the most prominent examples which we may consider is the realms of fantasy, science fiction, and mystery. Like authors like Rowling, Martin, George R.R. Martin, and Stephen King have drawn heavily from popular culture in their works. And moreover, if you consider Harry Potter series, it's deeply rooted in the traditions of British boarding school stories, but it also incorporates elements of popular culture, such as references to contemporary music, fashion, and even political issues. This blending of literary tradition with popular culture has made the series accessible to a broad audience, contributing to its immense popularity. Similarly, A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin draws on historical events and literary traditions, but it also engages with contemporary concerns such as portrayal of violence, the complexity of moral choices, and nature of power. The success of a television adaptation, Games of Thrones, further demonstrates how literature can be influenced by and in turn shape the popular culture. So the literary relationship between this popular culture and literature is not just one of influence but also of convergence. In the 21st century, the boundaries between these two realms have become increasingly blurred. Graphic novels, for instance, have emerged as a hybrid form that combines elements of literature and popular culture. Works like Moss by Art Spiegelman and Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi are celebrated both as literary achievement and as cultural artifacts that engage with contemporary issues. In this note, I just wanted to mention about the rise of fan fiction, which further blurred the lines between literature and popular culture. All of you know that fan fiction involves fans writing their own stories based on characters and settings from popular media has become a significant cultural phenomenon. While fan fiction is often dismissed by literary pursuits, it represents a form of grassroots literary production that reflects the participatory nature of contemporary popular culture. The digital era has facilitated the cross-pollination of literature and popular culture in ways that are previously unimaginable. So the relationship between popular culture and literature is complex and multifaceted. And I'm sure that the large number of papers which are going to be discussed in the today and tomorrow is going to reflect upon all the different things belonging to this particular, what I can say, the contradiction as well as the convergence. So ultimately the symbiotic relationship, I think, the symbiotic relationship between popular culture and literature, it reflects the evolving nature of cultural production in the modern world, whether through the enduring influence of classic literature on popular media or the impact of digital culture on contemporary writing. The dialogue between popular culture and literature continues to enrich both, offering new possibilities of creativity and engagement. With these few words, I just wanted to thank the organizers for identifying this particular topic, as well as for making this very relevant idea for debating, as well as for getting it more enriched among the students of the Department of English. Good wishes for the success of this particular program, and looking forward that each one of you will really gain a lot out of this. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir, for your illuminating lecture. It truly encapsulates the essence of the seminar. Now I would like to call Ms. Munikinkini Basu, Assistant Professor and Head, Department of English, to deliver the welcome address.
Hello and welcome to Sister Nivedita University. I think after what our Honorable Vice Chancellor has said, the tone for the seminar has been set to tune, and there is not much to say for me. I would like to thank all of you who are here and those of you who are going to join us tomorrow for the enormous number of participation that we have got. We have got around 300 and above abstracts, and it was quite a task for my team. I would like to congratulate the team of teachers that we have here. All professors have taken immense pain, and especially our convener, to sort out so many abstracts based on merit, possibilities, and scope, because you are the future researchers. You are the next generation of people who are going to think out of the box. And I'm sure this seminar will be an experience for us all, and we will all be enriched in one way or the other, or more than one way. And we will definitely come to a consensus that this is definitely going to go to its 4th year. So thank you, everyone. And with that, I would like to request our convener, Professor Swarnendu Dam, to come here and present the next set of lectures.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Today we have with us an esteemed guest, Mr. Sudipto Saha, Head, Surendranath College, who will deliver the keynote address. I would like to invite Mr. Sudipto Saha on stage for felicitation. I would also like to request our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Professor Basu, and Professor Probal Roy Chaudhuri, who is the professor of our department, to felicitate Professor Saha. Sudipto Saha is a full-time lecturer and head of the Department of English, Surendranath College, Kolkata. He was educated at the University of Calcutta, from where he received the Masters in English with a first class, and then B.Ed, PGD BPS, and an MPhil in Foreign Policy Studies, which was awarded to him in 2019. His areas of research interest include modernism in English literature, fiction, American short stories, contemporary fiction, changes in British politics and monarchy, American foreign policy, and international security issues. In 2017, he worked briefly with the editorial team of New Central Book Agency Private Limited, a reputed publication house in Kolkata. He has published multiple chapters in edited books and numerous research articles in various national as well as international journals. He has also worked on a research project on Bangladesh in 2019, which was sponsored by the Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. Since March 2024, he is a member of the reviewer panel of Creativitas, Critical Explorations in Literary Studies, an online double-blind peer-reviewed journal. He is currently pursuing his PhD in Development Studies from the Institute of Development Studies, Kolkata, affiliated to University of Calcutta. The title of his keynote is Pop Culture and Pages, the Dynamic Dance of Literature and Trendy Tales. I welcome Sir to deliver the keynote address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Professor Dam, for that wonderful introduction. I would like to first greet our Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Sir, the Head of the Department of English, Monikin Kinibasu, the other professors of the Department of English, and my fellow participants who are here for presenting papers and even who are here for exchange of ideas in the next 2 days to come. As mentioned by Professor Dam, the topic of my lecture would be Pop Culture and Pages, the Dynamic Dance of Literature and Trendy Tales. Popular literature, in its simplest sense, was that kind of literature that was excluded from the academia. It was not taught in school and university classrooms. In fact, it was not even considered as literature. It was considered to be songs, stories, legends, oral or written fables, and many more, not worthy to be taught. But they still existed and were mass-produced and consumed by people and had a life of their own. In the wake of new critical thinking of contemporary times, several academicians, like Leslie Fielder, resisted a blind alignment to the academia as the center, but promoted the popular, quote-unquote popular, in literary and cultural discourse. In his essay, which is titled Toward a Definition of Popular Literature, he considers, and I quote, popular song and story, mostly story, as popular literature. By popular literature, Fielder implies that literature which has been ghettoized or excluded from university education but has endured on its own. It is true that popular literature, as commodity literature, is dependent upon free enterprise marketplace, and often such literature cannot be stopped from attaining marketplace success. Such literature is denied to university classrooms and libraries because the notion floated by elitist critics is that the art form preferred by a majority of the people cannot be admirable and worthy of receiving serious attention and cannot be admitted into academia. In many ways, these so-called guardians of good taste ghettoize certain writers even before reading their works. Even librarians ghetto stack these books as juveniles, teenage fiction, or relegate some to a super ghetto called pornography, often called the untouchable category. But 3 decades into the 21st century, a paradigm shift has been noticed. The borders that divide the pop from the elite are merging. Media too plays a key role in creating hype and either taking a novel to its heights or to the bottom of the stack. A text has been placed against various production apparatuses or other modes of representations like cinema, stage, television, comic books, etc. If literature has to fulfill its role and purposes and can be communicated into practice, the analysis of popular narrative fiction can provide a crucial link between literature and culture. In popular literature, a kinship with the other arts exists. So, popular literature is driven, often by the people, to lend itself to other forms of media. As mass public culture, art practice, and vehicle of propaganda, literary adaptations on celluloid and cinema create an extended narrative text for the audience. Thus, interrogations like what happens to literature in cinema and pedagogy remain unaffected by its representations in cinema gains greater relevance now. The classic examples are Ian Fleming's James Bond spy thrillers, furthering the myth of the white man as the savior of their race, and also Bond as the iconic hero out to protect humanity from evil Russia or Germany, as the case may be. Even Agatha Christie, the queen of crime, creates a discourse around the enigmatic Hercule Poirot to paint a social landscape fraught with tensions and distrust, put up in a series of formulaic, manipulative texts. However, when literature flows into the forms of popular culture, films, soap operas, and comic books, subversions of different kinds occur. Inventions take place in the form of violence and sex. Contrarily, many distortions occur. By offering another mode of critical inquiry in the form of films or soap opera, the modern world has forced us to relook at the definition of the literary canon. Popular culture and film have been theorized and studied from a variety of perspectives, including a rich tradition of cultural studies that examines how films are not just the product of the explicit intent of the filmmakers, but represent and reproduce ideological functions of a larger culture. The cultural construction of identity, particularly in terms of gender, race, social class, and sexuality, has been a focus of much of the work in cultural studies, like cultural studies film criticism. Movies, like the popular culture texts, create complex portrayals of how we see ourselves and others that don't merely represent individuals and groups, but also helps to create understandings of who we think we are, how we regard others, and how members of groups identify and understand their group membership and their obligations to the group. A form of expression that was once considered folklore, folk song, or even people's literature, popular literature in present times attends to the call of a literate reading public. Or media and technology, which rules television and cinema, the force that frames it is the marketplace. It responds to the question, what sells and why? Its consumers may be the populace, but its creators are often located within the walls of scholarship and the academia. Writers like Chetan Bhagat, the creator of the genre of campus novels, is able to capture the pulse of the youth by providing them narratives in which the same youth lives and survives. Romance and campus fiction became two genres that gave the Indian audience a literature that was thoroughly Indian. Post-2000s, the new brigade of engineers of management graduates turned authors held the baton of commercial Indian fiction such as Durjoy Datta, who was not just a commercial author but a social media person. From attending literary fests, conferences, book signings, and doing appearances and book reading before and after the release of the book, the commercial author is here to stay. So in many ways, the popular in popular fiction in the current age of technology mirrors the true image of the society. And the readers choose book covers, review books, post videos about book signings, and participate in the making of that popular culture and literature. The late 20th century has seen a greater rise of formulaic fiction than ever before. Pandering to the consumptive epoch of the present, these popular functionists deliver what is demanded of them by the populace. Some of the Indian writers of contemporary times, such as Surendra Mohan Pathak, writing in Hindi are churning out crime stories by the dozen. No longer trashed as lowbrow literature, unworthy of literary attention and critical gaze, popular literature has now gained a currency of its own. They reside at not only the Wheeler kiosks at any railway stations, bus stops, pavements, and the like, but they are now the subject of literary and academic conferences and university curricula where their academic, literary, and commercial and popular merits are discussed and debated. One of the most important types of popular literature is flash fiction. Flash fiction has emerged as a significant form of literature that is being accepted by the masses. Flash fiction as an idea, a story or a poem written in minimal words has been present in literature for a long time, but its undeniable success in the 21st century cannot be debated. When Ernest Hemingway wrote, and I quote, "For sale, baby shoes never worn," it was applauded as a story with intense depth, gravity, and minimal expressions. This fiction creates a world where fiction became a means of entertainment more than introspection. The themes that are touched upon in flash fiction were rooted in the simple emotions that the readers could connect with, without delving deep into the complexities of the thematic emotion of the texts. The United States of America made significant contributions in the arena of flash fiction with two different types of magazines. One is named Narrative and the other is Smith, which provided an opportunity for people to publish flash fiction. India has captured the imagination of readers on social media with the immensely popular Terribly Tiny Tales in 2013 with its creator, with its founder, Anuj Gosalia. In his essay written in 1980 titled The Literature of Replenishment, American postmodernist writer John Barth laid out a provisional definition for what the postmodern writing of the future should be, arguing quite vehemently that it must somehow expand the audience for literary fiction. He identified what he considered to be the most pertinent differences between modernist and postmodernist writing as he set his agenda for replenishment, namely a reconnection between the literary novelists and the broad-based audience that had been the commonplace in the pre-modern period. According to Barth, this loss of audience was attributable to the difficulty of access that was one of the chief distinguishers of modernist writing, and directly responsible for the unpopularity of modernist fiction outside the intellectual circles and university curricula. As per Barth, the ideal postmodernist author should try to recover the lost audience. If we fast forward 20-some years, the literary word Barth describes in that essay now seems antique. The ideal postmodern novel he hoped would appear did indeed materialize in the form of novels such as Salman Rushdie's Midnight's Children, written in 1981, Graham Swift's Waterworld, written in 1983, Julian Barnes's Flaubert's Parrot, written in 1984, Don DeLillo's Libra, written in 1988, and Jeanette Winterton's Sexing the Cherry, written in 1989. And by now, those novels have become canonical and are regularly taught in courses on postmodern fiction. But something else happened in the meantime that redefined the entire notion of accessibility. Writers of literary fiction such as Amy Tan, Ian McEwan, Toni Morrison, Jhumpa Lahiri, Margaret Atwood, and Cormac McCarthy have the brand name recognition once enjoyed by writers of bestsellers. Their popularity depends upon a great mass of reading-addicted television watchers and a culture industry ready and eager to bring them together through book clubs, superstore bookstores, and glossy high-concept adaptations that have dominated international motion picture and television award shows. What used to be a thoroughly private experience in which readers engaged in intimate conversation with an author between the pages of the book has become an exuberantly social activity. Whether it be in the form of actual book clubs, television book clubs, internet chat rooms, or the entire set of rituals involved in going to a bookstore. What used to be an exclusively print-based activity and fiercely proud of it has become an increasingly image-based activity in which literary reading has been transformed into a variety of possible literary experiences. Of course, you like Jane Austen. All of you might have read at some point of time in their life in academia or for the pleasure of reading. But how do you take your Austen? That is the question that we must ask. In novel form, or as a television adaptation with Colin Firth, or as a film adaptation with Keira Knightley, as a fictionalized account of reading Jane, as in the Jane Austen Book Club, the movie. If so, in novel form, complete with Reader's Guide, or the movie adaptation with Emily Blunt playing the character who reads Persuasion so passionately. It can be any or all of the above, whatever I have just said, at any given moment as you surf through the possible Austen experiences. Contemporary literature works often serve as palimpsests, inscribing the ephemeral nuances of prevailing cultural zeitgeists, societal discourses, and collective anxieties. Popular literary texts thus resonate with modern audiences who perceive within them a reflection of their own fragmented realities. Conversely, popular culture engages in a process of intertextual reappropriation, wherein literary texts are transmuted to align with contemporary aesthetic and ideological sensibilities, manifesting in various media forms such as cinema, television, and interactive digital platforms. The advent of social media as a discursive space has further catalyzed this exchange, engendering novel modes of literary consumption and critique through virtual communities, participatory fandoms, and user-generated content. Thematic evolution within literature, particularly in its engagement with concepts of identity, alterity, and psychological depth, often mirrors the fluctuating currents of cultural discourse, thereby reinforcing the reciprocal nature of this relationship. In essence, the relationship between literature and popular culture is one of dynamic co-creation. Literature draws from the rich well of cultural phenomena to craft stories that resonate with the times, while popular culture interprets and reinterprets and invigorates and reinvigorates these stories, ensuring their continued relevance. This intricate dance between literature and popular culture not only ensures their mutual vitality, but also facilitates a continual reimagining of the cultural imaginary, where each domain incessantly informs and transforms the other in response to the mutable contours of contemporary life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Shudipta Shah, for delivering such an enlightening lecture. You discussed various facets of popular culture and literature, which I'm sure will be helpful for all of the participants over here and for us teachers as well. It was really fantastic. We'll wait for a few minutes and I'd request, yes, Professor Dam to be here to discuss the schedule details.
So we have come to the end to our inaugural session. Now the technical sessions will begin. But before the technical session, we have arranged some tea and coffee for you, which is waiting outside. But before you go and sip the tea or coffee, I would like to mention the room number and the participants. So the first session, the first technical session, there are 4 parallel sessions. So Srilekha Mitro, Shumangol Mukherjee, Nitika Kumari Singh, Pronit Sarkar, and Shubhecha Mukherjee, they will stay here. Their presentation will be conducted. Volunteers will guide you, and we will begin the sessions. Okay. And go to your designated room number. All the volunteers are here. They will guide you.
As I call out your names, please step forward. Srilekha Mitra. Okay. You can sit there, Srilekha, no worries. Shumangal Mukherjee. Nikita Kumari Singh. Pronit Sarkar. Bidisha Chakraborty. Shudipta Dash with Shubhecha Mukherjee. All right. Shumangal, if you can kindly come up to the podium. Yes.